Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today, back into Grigsby's classic War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. This is our Let's Play by email with the devilish Mr. Lodrick, and it is now February 21st, 1942, so we're about 2.5 months into the war. We've got 5 main spots where the action's happening. Now, as you know, if you watch these, because of submarines and airplanes and whatnot, action can really happen anywhere on the map. But the main 5 spots where it's really happening right now are just off of Colombo, off of Ceylon. Uh, Lodrick has a carrier group over there that's wreaked havoc at Bombay, or Bombed Bay, as we've started to call it, and is now heading south, I think, back to port in Singapore, but that's going to take it right by Colombo. So we have that action. We have action at Rangoon as he continues to fly sweeps over Rangoon to engage our cap and to also bomb if he can get through. Then we have the invasion of the Dutch East Indies, which continues apace. We have Port Moresby, where he is. Did I say 5? Maybe it's 4. Port Moresby, where he also has a carrier group down in that area. So in Papua New Guinea, just off the coast of Australia. And so, anyway, let's get into it. Let's see what happened February 21st, February 22nd of the year 1942. Just an incredible amount of action in this game. I'll say you could play this game 100 times and not see this much action through the middle of till late part of February, but that's great. That's that's what I wanted, and he has certainly brought the aggressiveness. Also China. That was number 5. There's all kinds of action in China as we get to China right now, and as you can see, we had abandoned Yan'an up there in the northern part of the center of China, and he just walked into that base. Now, that's not something you would normally do, but he has us so badly outnumbered there that we could sit around and lose 20,000 troops trying to hold it and eventually losing it. Instead, I decided to move out. Okay, we've got surface fleets that are over by Calcutta, so I guess that adds kind of a 6th theater of operations here. That's interesting. So he's got a surface fleet that he's bringing from Rangoon to Calcutta, trying to cut down any supply we could get into there. Very smart of him to do, right? Because really, Rangoon, in many cases, comes down to how much supply you've been able to stuff it with. You can put a lot of forces there, but if they can't eat, they're going to lose their effectiveness very quickly. And so he's run. He had his carriers over there at one point. Now surface ships. As you could see, we had some task forces headed to Rangoon. So we'll see if they can get out of the way. Certainly, we hope so. All right. That's one of our task forces. These guys, they will automatically try to get out of the way of a surface fleet. They usually don't have enough speed to do so, but we're we're praying, fingers crossed, that they can get back to Calcutta. Now the problem is they're rerouting, trying to still get to Rangoon because that's their orders. That may eventually be their doom. They'd be better off to just turn right back around to Calcutta, but I don't think they're going to do that. Now, those are some low value cargo ships because that's all you want to send into Rangoon at this point. I do have some KVs with them just for submarine protection. Those are worth 5 or 6 points. But the cargo ships should be 1 or 2 point ships, and that's all I've got going into Rangoon at this point. I believe that's true. I guess we'll find out. All right, there's bad weather over Rangoon. That was the message that just came up. Okay, so his carriers are going to say hello as they pass by Colombo. You can see now that force has come all the way from Bombay. And with a carrier group like this, they eat up so much fuel that they're going to have to go back to base, after going all the way to Bombay. He's going to have to retreat all the way back, fuel back up, make sure his aircraft, he's got those. Uh, to max out But here you can see we've got a lot that we can put up in cap at Colombo now. We've got Hurricane 2B traps, 15 of those up in the air, 5 Hurricane 2As. These are our best two groups of planes at this point. 14 zeros sweeping over, but we should have some, decent luck here, I hope. 1 to 1, 1 to 1. Okay, well, that's fine. Every plane he loses, really every pilot he loses, is to our advantage. We'll trade 1 to 1 all day long. All right, here he comes in with some more zeros. We get 2As and 2Bs up. We should be coming in over the top of him. We'll look this time and see. He took no losses. We took one destroyed 2B. He's coming in really high, 31,000 feet. Now, this early in the game, especially, you don't have too many planes that can get up there and maneuver at all. Now, the Trops can fly up there, certainly, but I've got them at 20. I think I've got one group at 20,000 feet and one group at 25,000 feet, which is really a high altitude at this point, but he's still getting the advantage coming in at 31,000 feet. So 2 to 1 now, and now his carriers hit Port Moresby. So two of the places we talked about, right off the bat, we get action. 24 zeros in here, and he's got about 140 bombers that he's escorting out with those. We do have some anti-aircraft here, but not as much as I'd like at Port Moresby. We damage 10 planes, and we only take 18 casualties. So certainly we'll take that, depending on how many of these planes that are damaged become an operational loss. But we'll take that with only 18 casualties. Okay, now he's bombing in China. We've seen this movie before. This is north of Nanyang. This is our big Loyang Chengchao stack that we've moved out of here. They're coming down the road. They're up in the mountains now. He comes in with about 50 bombers or so. He takes 3 damaged planes and does no damage on the ground. And then 40 IDAs follow that up. You could see we got some anti-aircraft up there, 4 damage planes, and again, we take no damage on the ground. It helps that we're up in the mountains, a little tougher. It's light clouds. All right, now he's bombing into southeastern China. No Japanese losses, and again, we take no losses on the ground, even with a clear sky. So his bombardiers aren't doing quite as well this time, but I've probably spoken too soon, as he gets about 60 bombers in here, 4 damage planes, 70 casualties. Now, this is this isolated group that's just to the east of Xinjiang. Now, I don't know how the hell we're going to get him out of here. I've tried every different way. He's got troops in all of these hexes. We may have to go all the way up and around Xinjiang. We'll see. 45 casualties on the ground. No plane losses there. Okay, now these are the groups that are trying to get back to Hanyang. They're just moving up this road, the major roadway. We're not using the rail, it's on the road. 2 damaged planes, and we take no losses on the ground. So that's the third time that's happened this turn. Severe storms over this stack. All right, 24 Sally's. This is the group. So he just walked into Yan'an. And like I said, you won't often do this because it's protected by rivers on 3 sides, right? It's also, not the best terrain to be attacking from. As it was, though, he had such a massive stack coming that way. I said, screw it. Let's get out of here. I want to try to get these guys to land Chow. I doubt we can get there before he can, but I'm going to try. 1 damage Sally, we took 59 casualties on the ground. And we'll talk much more about China during the next setup here. It's been very interesting the way he's played it. I've never seen someone play it this way, and I mean that with full credit. 6 of our Marauders. So we have a group, a squad. I should stop saying group. A squadron of B-26 Marauders that I've left here at Surabaya. We could have easily taken them back to Australia, but I said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's try to hit something. Now, we were attacking a cruiser, the Maya, which has really good anti-aircraft. Any cruiser generally does. We had 1 damaged plane. We did not do any damage to his ships. And then we've got some B-17 fortresses that I also have down here that I thought, let's give it a try. Again, I'm bringing them in very, very high for a bombing mission, 25,000 feet. If you've got really bad bombardiers, and the Americans do early in the game, coming in at 25,000 feet, I mean, that's needle in a haystack stuff. So we do no damage, but we take no damage. All right, we're sighting all of their planes that are flying about. We're claiming that there are ships near Pearl Harbor, or one of our squadrons is. The Seagulls are. I very much doubt that. But that would be quite a surprise. I mean, he's playing so aggressively, hell, who knows? It's possible. A full invasion of Pearl Harbor with 7 ships seems unlikely, but you never know. Port Moresby, he's going to bomb away here. Now, it looks like those are coming out of Rabaul, right? Here's his carrier task force, and we saw the short red line earlier. Now it looks like these are coming all the way from the base in Rabaul. 46 bombers. He took no losses. We took no losses on the ground. Okay, he's back. He's back to Colombo. He's wearing down our cap. You can see we've got 2 full squadrons of 16 each, but he's got so many planes, obviously, on these carriers that he's wearing down our cap, and now he's out over the port, and he's going to get a bombing run in here. We've got a lot of anti-aircraft here, too, so this will be a very interesting result. Well, we just lost a destroyer and an AKL, 2 AKLs. Okay. Those are all fairly low value ships. Aircraft losses. He had 1-0 destroyed, 4 Kates damaged, and 9 Vals damaged. We took no losses here. Oh, okay. Well, this is going to be interesting. Now, all of these are super low value, low point ships. The big one, though, is the Prince of Wales here. He hit it 13 times. It has heavy fires and heavy damage. If we go down here, this is a one or 2 point ship. That's got heavy damage. The CM is a mining ship. It's got heavy fires, heavy damage. Okay. The PG is a 1 or 2 point ship. Again, I got a lot of this stuff, a lot of the high value stuff out of here. The AP, the Von Imhoff, this is a low value transport. I think it's only worth about 6 points, but it's on heavy fire. We've got 2 AKLs that are both heavy damaged. He did sink a Dutch destroyer, so this is like 3 or 4 he's gotten in the last turn or two. The AS Platypus. Now, the platypus, I just like to say platypus, that's fun. They're fun little animals with a duck's bill. This is actually a pretty high value ship. I think it's worth like 24 points. It's a submarine tender, and now it's under heavy damage. Hopefully that doesn't sink. Now, when they're in the port, there's much less likelihood that they're going to sink. The Sebulga sunk. That's a 1 or 2 point ship. The Romney, same deal. It's a mining ship. Lulworth Hill is an AK. I'm not sure about that one, I'll be honest. This is a 1 or 2 point ship that also got sunk. The repair shipyard took 4 hits. The port took 5 hits. So, wow, I mean, he really got into here, but luckily we just didn't have that many high value ships here, except for the Prince of Wales, which is it's over a 200 point ship. So we got to hope that that does not sink. As it is right now, I think we've lost about 5 or 6 points, but that could very quickly turn into much, much more. 16 bombers in here. We take 13 casualties on the ground. He follows that up. Again, this is that isolated stack. 1 damage plane, 12 casualties. He's reconning over Mole Mine, just seeing what we've got there, which probably means he's going to start heading over towards Rangoon with ground troops soon. Okay, we're bringing our Marauders back in here, hoping to get that lucky hit on a cruiser or AK, well, we did. Okay, so we had one Marauder that got damaged. We're flying out of Surabaya. He doesn't seem to have any fighters here because or in the area because there was no cap that engaged. Uh, we had one plane that got damaged, and we hit the AK Sasaka Maru, a bomb hit. Nice. We'll see. Hopefully that sinks. Yeah, it looked like a lot there at Colombo, but actually I'm not too distressed by that. I mean, I knew it was coming or suspected it was. I was just really, really hoping that the Prince of Wales didn't sink. Okay, there's the Romney went down. That's not Mitt Romney. The AM Romney went down. That's another, and the CM. Okay, well, it keeps popping back there to tell us other things that have sunk as time goes on here. But again, we add all that together. I'm not even sure if it's worth more than 15 points, the ships we've lost so far. It's all about the Prince of Wales and the Platypus to some degree. I mean, that's 24, 25 point ship. All right, he's attacking this group that had gotten back across the river. So we had three stacks out here. One of them actually made it back, but now they're getting attacked. Okay, now they're retreating back to Hanyang. So hopefully they pop up to this hex so that they're just one away there. Let's go ahead and go through this and see what happened. Yep, they popped right up there. Now they're on the roadway, and we'll get them back to Hanyang. Look, I mean, these guys have been out here forever living off the land. When they do the adjusted value, it's almost 2100 to 20 to 218. So you're talking 10 to 1 there. The odds they're showing once it goes through the blender is 8 to 1 because we had a terrain advantage. You can see he took 813 casualties. We took 75 and 40. Ouch. Okay, well, that's what happens in China. Now he's attacking this stack out here. We should have a terrain advantage there because it is in the mountains or the hills really. We pop right back on this road. It ends up just being a 2 to 1 attack. He takes 69 casualties and we take 21-21. Just goes to show you, I mean, the Japanese troops are just so much better than the Chinese troops that any kind of advantage he has just grows with the morale and the experience and whatnot of the troops. This is at Dobo, and he has now captured Dobo. I think we only no, we didn't have anybody there. So he's taken Dobo, and you can see there were no losses. That was an empty base. And now he's going to take this base here, Namlea. Okay, sure, we didn't have anybody there. Now he's attacking us at Medan, which is in Sumatra. You can see we actually our our raw assault value is better. He just did a bombardment attack. Okay, I should look at that first. So he lobbed some artillery at us. Now this is an allied bombardment attack at Ambon. That is us bombarding him from out. He's sitting outside the base, and we're throwing artillery out at him. Ground combat, Allied bombardment at Port Moresby. So he's been sitting over here for a while. I don't think he brought enough to take Moresby. And so, again, we're bombarding him. That kind of happens automatically when we're on defend. He takes 73 casualties. We take 5 casualties. I guess a gun backfired or something. But, we cause a few casualties and we also disrupt his troops a little bit. Now we're into the later stages of the turn. The ground combat's kind of the last big action that happens every turn, or every day, excuse me, every day. We're not through the turn, we're just getting through the first day here. Day 2 coming up, and who knows? I mean, just that time, what did we have? Several carrier attacks, bombing runs. We had an attack on the port at Colombo. We hit him with some marauders, a lot of land battles. I mean, it's just like every day in this game so far. There's a lot going on. Makes my job easier. We'll see if he hits Colombo again. I think he may just kind of sail off into the rising sun. Um, for now. He's done plenty. If you add up Bombay and Colombo, he's done plenty of damage. He can certainly think that that was well worth a trip over to India with that group. You can see we've got planes moving down to Bombay a little too late. We got to keep beefing up Colombo, assuming the Prince of Wales survives, and that may be a really big assumption. If it survives, we got to protect it because, like I said, it's a 200-point ship. Now, many times you'll lose it in the first two turns of the game, but we were lucky enough not to. I wanted to get it all the way to Cape Town, but we weren't able to. We had to pull up in Colombo because it just had too much float damage. And that's really what you want to look at when you're trying to flee after damage. The fire damage is immediate, right? If it's on fire, it's going to keep taking damage to the other three categories. But then after that, once the fires are put out, it's all about float damage, whether they just sink. Now, system damage and engine damage will cause you not to be able to get where you want to go very quickly, but you can, sometimes move a hex at a time if you don't have any float damage. But the float damage means flooding, right? So, you don't have to be an expert to know that flooding usually makes ships sink. Look at that. See what we all learned today. All right, it's now February 22nd of 1942. I'm hoping that this day is much slower, certainly, because we're taking the brunt of the damage. We keep reporting ships out by Pearl Harbor. I have to think that those are just submarines. The second message we got over Pearl Harbor said there was like a periscope in the water. All right, you can see that we're canceling some missions because of the weather. Oh, okay. Well, we've got a bombing force. I've got a squadron of Hudsons in at Rangoon, and I thought, you know what? Let's just put them on bomb. That's, ground bombing, and that was commander's discretion. He decided to run down here and bomb Bangkok. I probably would not have done that, but he made it through the cap. So they put up 8 Oscars in cap. We had 3 Hudson 2As. They made it through. We only took 2 damaged, and you can see we didn't cause any damage on the ground. I'm not sure how they missed everything. These guys are not well trained. These pilots. They came in at 8,000 feet, which is the suggested bombing height for ground bombing. But we dropped 4 250-pound bombs. They didn't hit anything, evidently, because certainly he's got something at Bangkok. I mean, even if it's just a garrison force. All right, he's bombing the group east of Yan'an. We damaged 9 planes. Wow, 109 casualties. Was it bad weather? Well, it was light rain, but 9 planes get damaged, 109 casualties on the ground. One of the 2 stacks in southeastern China getting bombed as usual. 2 damaged planes, 22 casualties. Now the other one getting bombed as usual. 1 damaged plane, 49 casualties. Now it's going to get bombed again. 8 casualties on the ground, 2 damaged ands. And how about a third time? 1 damaged plane, no casualties on the ground. Now he's actually bombing Hanyang. 21 Idas come in. We do no damage to him. 5 casualties on the ground. West of Yan'an, 24 Sallies in, one damaged plane, 128 casualties. He's flying missions over Mole Mine, which is kind of the gateway to Rangoon. He'll come there first. 6 Sonias bombing these guys again. No losses on the ground in moderate rain. Now this is us. B-17's coming over to Ballypoppin. I'm trying to hit the port at Ballypoppin, right? I'm hoping he's got tankers in there or something. We may get some collateral damage. But as you can see, 25,000 feet, 4 500-pound bombs. They miss completely. I guess we'll just look at that as a training run. All right, we're sighting his planes from the ground. He's got action out over Cookton and or did somebody told me it was is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Somebody told me one time I wasn't pronouncing it correctly. It obviously looks like Cooktown, but I don't think that's how you say it. I do know that what looks like Carnes is actually Cans. Okay, this is 40 Betties. Looks like that may well, it's hard to tell, right? That this is where we cite them. This is where his carriers are, but this line actually could be going all the way back to Rabal. We just don't know necessarily because we get sight of them here. He brings 20 Betties up the. Oh, he's got a task force right here too. That's new. That happened this on this day because this was not here before. 20 Betties here in thunderstorms, he completely misses the troops on the ground. Now he's got 26 Nels coming in. Again, he misses. Thunderstorms. It's going to be hard to bomb in that. But yeah, he has a task force that. Oh, he is going to hit Colombo again. Well, shoot fire. Coming in with nothing but bombers, unescorted bombers, and we've got cap up. We could do some real potential damage here, either to them on the way in or on the way out. You can see our anti-aircraft just went nuts there. He did get one of our AKLs. He got the AP the second time around. Okay, so we only got 3 planes up in cap. His fighters obviously were too tired. I say tired as if planes can get tired, but he didn't get any escort going out here. We only got 3 2As up for cap, but we end up damaging between anti aircraft and the 3 planes. We damaged 26 planes. Nice. Okay, he hits the Prince of Wales 15 more times. So he's hit it 28 times now. Heavy fires, heavy damage. Well, this thing, if it does survive, is not going to be able to move the rest of the game. This is just massive, massive damage, but it hasn't shown us that it's sunk yet. AK, heavy damage. The AP, the Van Imhoff, sunk. The Honoluluan, heavy damage on this AKL. The Platypus is now on fire with heavy damage, and the Dahan is sunk. So what we lost here probably adds up to less than 10 points, but that's so far. We'll see what else goes down. Okay, now this is probably off of his carriers because he's got 21 zeros in here, so lots of carrier. If you love the carriers, you're getting it this turn. We damage 9 bombers as he comes into Port Moresby. We take 9 casualties on the ground. We'll take that every time. So we damaged 26 planes on that bombing run. Who knows how many of those actually made it back to the carriers? Hey, look at our Marauders go. This one squadron of Marauders here at Surabaya is already hit one cargo ship. What did we get this time? Anything? Nothing. Nah, it's a sub chaser that we were targeting, which is not worth much to begin with. I'd rather not even go after these. We have one Marauder damaged. Okay. Sighting more of his planes. And the Honoluluan goes down. Again, a 1 or 2 point cargo ship. So, gosh, his foray to Bombay has just provided him, I would say, all toll. Gosh, I don't even know. If the Prince of Wales goes down, it would be over 1,000 points. It's got to be 700 or 800 points right now. Just a daring move that certainly worked out for him. Land move attack phase. This is that group that has just been bombed, was isolated. Part of it, if not all of it's going to surrender, and indeed it does. Did they all surrender? I think they did. Yeah, the stack is gone. It didn't jump anywhere. That was 2,000 men that surrendered out here. We just couldn't get them out. Ultimately, that's the thing China has is manpower. You're going to get losses like that. I mean, believe me, I'm trying to do everything I can not to, but you're going to have some troops that get trapped, and those did. They had gotten whittled down. That started as a much better force, obviously, but it was down to the last 2,000 men living off the land. They weren't going to do much anyway. Um, Madan, ground combat, Japanese bombardment attacks. So he's shelling that base right now. And now this is, so that was Madan. This is Ambon. And this is, again, our bombardment attack. So he's just stuck here on the beach. And we keep throwing artillery out there. He's going to have to bring more, and we're holding out there. That's great. Great job by that base. Allied bombardment attack. We kind of got the same situation at Moresby here. I don't think he brought enough, and I think that's why this task force is around here to try to drop off more. Now you see we've got submarine squadron out here. Hopefully we can, hit a troop transport or something. But as it is right now, we're just bombarding him outside the base. And now we're expanding, and so that's pretty much it for the air, naval, and ground combat. Now, this was a crazy ass turn. I mean, you can go, for a month in this game and not get carrier action. We've got two full carrier task forces that are bombing two of the most important spots on the map right now. I was really happy with that 20, that bombing run. He had 26 planes that may not make it back to the carriers. Now, we have no way of knowing how many did. The Prince of Wales is hurt. Certainly, it took 28 bombs this time. We'll just have to see. I mean, I have no idea. It could be on fire. It could have 99 flotation damage. It may be going down, but it's in the shipyard already. So hopefully we can save it. Everything else that we lost out there outside of the platypus is not that big of a deal, honestly. It's low point value. Um, we have millions of AKLs, CMs, AMs. I mean, we have millions of those types of ships. We don't want to be losing any points, but overall, that's, for him coming full in with a carrier task force to Colombo, if we don't lose the Prince of Wales, that was certainly acceptable losses, unlike what happened at Bombay, where we lost a carrier and a battleship. That can't happen. But the Colombo losses could be manageable. We'll see when we come back in the setup next time. So, wow, what a turn. February 21st, 22nd. When we come back, we'll be setting up for February 23rd, 1942. As we keep scooting along here, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me.